Let's go! What's up, R8RBEAR? Oh, let's go! Let's go! Often imitated, never duplicated. That fool with no hair, that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! What? Woo! The R8RBEAR! Rick and Morty Raiders! Okay, sorry about that. My first no sound, I saw I had no sound. Once I saw no sound, I went with no sound to fix my no sound. Wait a minute. Now, when I played my opening, did you got like my video opening? Did you hear my video opening though? Because see, then it counts. I still did. I still did the opening, and then you got one pantomime. No, I'm sorry. So you didn't hear me announce the medals. SA Big Dog was my gold medalist tonight on YouTube. Lucky Pace was our second place, our silver medalist. David Pell-Cliver knows what place he came in because I was holding the weapon up in the air. So he's probably laughing because sound or no sound, he knows when I pull out the weapons, I'm talking about David Pell-Cliver. It's Mount Rushmore in the house. And then Facebook, it was Joe Holman. Joe, I gave you a hell of a salute. I really appreciate you, brother, my bodyguard. John the Lion Leon, when he saw the L, he knows. I repeat my moves enough. You guys should know by now, okay? Even no sound. The show rolls on. Put foots in me. No, in me. I think that's, you know what? In 10 years, that's the first time I put foots in the bear. You know, I've been effing up with that for a while, but not lately, and so that was me. And last but not least, third place, Jim Garrison. Jim, I didn't really say much about you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I called you Jim G. What's up, my guy, Jim Garrison? So there you go. And I'd ask everyone if you care, you share a Raider Bear, and remember to subscribe to Raider Bear Live on YouTube. You just hit like, helps with the algorithm. Doing this for 10 years now, decided to go on YouTube. Not a big deal. I'm not trying to overtake everyone else. And by the way, I enjoy all the other guys' shows. I want to be clear about that. In the past, I've kind of said things bad about some shows. And some of those shows were bad, but there was really no point in me saying that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want someone trashing my show just because that's their opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to do that anymore. And I wanted to explain why, because if I didn't, it would just sound like I was a cop-out. Oh, I'm going to be nice to everyone now. No, there's a reason for it. You know, I've changed my attitude toward that because I feel like those guys deserve respect. Whether their show may be good or not, they put in the same type of work that I do. You know, it's hard to do what we do. It seems like we're just talking, you know, but you're creating content. You're trying to be naturally, you know, spontaneously charismatic and so on because you want your viewers to enjoy you. But in truth, for most people that are good at this, that's natural because this is who I am. You know, this is just who I am. I'm not the Raider Bear, and who I actually am really aren't different. Watch, I'll show you. Linda! She might not come in here just because I think she was cooking dinner, or she might be watering the plants. If she's out front watering the plants, she won't hear me. But she'll come in here sometimes. I'll yell like that, and she'll come in, and I'll just go, you know what? I really like your shoes today. She'll like start hitting me because I make her get up and come out of another room and walk to the other side of the house. And our house is not small. You know, it's not a 2-story, but it's kind of ranch style, so it's got some length to it. All right, so let's get into it. Raider Bear football. So Raider football. So Michael Mayer might be leaving us. Not for sure. One of our linebackers who probably would have gotten a shot got hit with the catch-22. We'll go into that in a minute. Also, let me see here. The wide receiver situation is getting more interesting because Marquez Callaway is being looked at as legit, a guy who could walk right in and start helping us right away. Okay, so let's just get right to the first one, and then if you guys have any questions, you just let me know, and we'll get, whoa. I got so much, I'm sorry, I've got a tablet, I've got the speaker going over here, I got my cell phone, and I use them all, and then my computer, of course, just getting information for you guys and doing a crispy show. I just gave you some insight onto that, too. It's been 10 years. I've never really told people this, but what I do every single day is I watch video in the morning. I usually read the news, look at the rumor mill, look at SB, Silver and Black Nation. I also go on Bleacher Report, ESPN, ESPN2, and a couple others, Fox. And then once I feel like I've got enough sufficient information, because I don't tell you guys everything. A lot of the time I'll find 10 subjects and I'll bring 6. You know what I mean? Because that's really all I can get in an hour. Because 1, I talk too much. And 2, sometimes I talk too much about other things. Because I haven't talked about Raider football yet. Okay, I'm getting onto it, I swear. Put foots in me. That's twice now. Okay, so the big main news is, are we going to make a move for Tyreek Hill with the Miami Dolphins? The recent legal problems that appreciate the sick hat, SA Big Dog. I love the different color sets. Obviously, I have a lot of black ones, but see, this one is the sky blue. It's kind of hard to tell because my lights are so bright right now, but this is sky blue, and then this is blueberry, I like to call it. I get so many of these as like gifts from fans and family and friends, and then I've got the camo with the trucker back style. I freaking love that one. I wear that one a lot. And then this one is from, I think, 2 or 3 drafts ago. This is one of the draft hats from when we were in Vegas and they had the draft, and that was awesome. So yeah. Okay, so the Tyreek Hill thing. Now here's the sticker. And I don't know how you guys feel about it. You can make a comment if you'd like, and I'll read that, and then we can go into that. If not, maybe give me something else. But here's the thing. Michael Mayer is just starting to look like he's catching on with us. Just looked like he was just starting to really get his footing underneath him. And now it feels like he's getting Darren Wallered. In other words, remember I told you I felt like Darren Waller wasn't going to be on this team much longer. I don't know how many of you remember that. And I came on and I admitted I was wrong because it looked like the Raiders had really gotten back to bed with him. Well, now it's looking like a lot of that was smoke and mirrors that they were saying to build up his persona as a professional player and a good teammate and so on, so that the Miami Dolphins would see him as a valuable trade offer for Tyreek Hill. Now, first, whether Michael Mayer has the right attitude or not, to me, that's a way better deal. That's a way better deal. If I'm the Dolphins, I'm doing that in a heartbeat. Now, yes, Tyreek Hill is a weapon and he's nice, but he's starting to get into a lot of legal trouble. He's got a lot of trouble going on in his personal life that's also legal. And then now, more importantly, you're bringing him in at the oldest he's ever been. He's not exactly injury prone, but when he gets hurt, it tends to take forever for them to get him back. You know, it happened with the Chiefs. It happened with the Dolphins. We're supposed to think now it wouldn't happen with us. When we're the third team getting him at the oldest he's ever been, if we're willing to give up Michael Mayer, I would rather go to another team and go after a squad's wide receiver that I feel like can be our number one, but at least has a better health history than Tyreek Hill. I mean, there's guys out there, you know, and Michael Mayer isn't exactly this massive give up. So we could look at quite a few different wide receivers. You know what I mean? And if there's a top 5 and you end up with the 5th guy, I'd still rather that guy than Michael Mayer if I'm the Raiders and I feel this way about him. You know what I mean? I changed my feelings about him. When we very first drafted him, I pumped my fist. I said, here comes we're working on the 2 tight end set. It's going to be incredible. And then he became a head case. He wasn't on the field almost ever. When he was, he'd make a catch here and there. Other times I actually myself witnessed him through film study run the wrong route on a couple of different occasions where he'd run an up and an out like a 7 instead of an up and an in. And it just... It was bad. It was bad. And so then all of a sudden he needs a leave of absence. I'm like, okay, no, bye. I've had enough. Not down. Not feeling it. Why do you still say no sound? Wait a minute. No, okay. Oh, okay. You're saying there we go. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Gilbert Zaguire. Sorry if I said that wrong. Gilbert. The Niners have problems, and everything the Niners were and all this winning they've been doing, it's only going to start regressing, and we've already seen it start to happen. They're even talking about whether or not their quarterback's good enough, and that's because Shanahan is trying to save his job as usual. At what point are we going to stop calling Shanahan a genius? You know what I mean? If you want to say he's a great offensive coordinator, say that. But stop calling the guy a genius. A genius would make a good head coach. He's a terrible head coach. Period. And anyone that wants to can argue with me about it. I've had plenty of Niner fans do it, even Niner Beto, and I had him crying in his beer when I was finished. And he might be watching, so you might get a turn up here in a second. And I'll put foots in him, said to myself. Because plain and simply, the Niners are losing depth. The running game is in a shambles because of Christian, what's-his-face, never really being available, and when he is, it's usually not for very long. Their defensive line, which has been good, has started to show some cracks. They've been starting to mix and match players, trying to keep the production, but hasn't been the same. Wide receiver, they're vulnerable. It's been Shanahan's offense that's made this team look the way it does. His adjustments when they lost their running back and putting a wide receiver in Deebo Samuels back there was brilliant. It took guts. A lot of guys wouldn't do that because the fans and other coaches will be like, you're putting a wide receiver at running back mid-year? A guy who hasn't prepared for that at all? A wideout? You could lose him at both positions. You do that, and instead he did it, and it worked out not good, but great. I mean, Deebo was real good at the running position. So, plus they do a lot of trickeration on the line, and that helped them too. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they were on 4th and 1 going for it. Because he's such a banger now. But sorry, where's my jigga-da-jum-ja-jum? Steven and Mrs. Shaw. Shaw! Appreciate the love on the stars. Jesse Parker, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Jesse, you can't tell me that when I sent you the image of that shirt, you didn't laugh. Somewhere down deep in that belly of yours, you laughed, and I know it. And by the way, you and I need to have a conversation about Doom. We really do. I'm thinking about going live just on my normal page, and then if you see it, just jump on, and so we can talk about it. I'll put a header on it, Marvel and the latest bad guy, Dr. Doom. And then we should talk about it, because, dude, I have so much to talk about that. It's crazy. All the stuff with RDJ and the change in the storyline and how the Fantastic Four applies and what he's going to do and what the storyline is. I got it all. I've got it all. I even know what they're sneaking in. It rhymes with bistro and involves a certain gigantically strong green individual. James and Princetta Walker in the house. What's up, family? Welcome to the show. I always miss them. They were the sweetest people. In my opinion, it means anything. I say no to Hill. He's starting to get banged up, and if he's having legal trouble, Vegas ain't the town for him. Joe, welcome to the show. I would argue this, Joe. I'm just going to play devil's advocate because obviously we kind of agree. But, handsome guys do that. We agree on things. But I would say this to you. I think there's a chance it's the perfect place for him for just what you said. Because if you bring him to Sin City and he keeps his nose clean and his lawyer's going to see this as a positive. Hey, look, he moved to Sin City, to Vegas, the party capital. What's he doing? Drinking milk, taking his vitamins, and going to bed at 9:30. Seriously. I mean, that could do a lot for him and for his image, whether he's a Raider or not. You know what I mean? It could do that particular thing could do a lot for his image. But having said that, I'm not too on board with it, but I'm somewhat on board when you consider the cost. For example, what has Michael Mayer brought to the Raiders thus far? Nothing. I mean, literally nothing. So I don't mind parting ways with him because I don't feel like we'd be losing anything. I mean, we've never gotten anything from him. And what's to say we'll get it this year? I would feel pretty dumb if we didn't get Tyreek Hill and that possibility to then say, oh, well, they got we'll keep Michael Mayer, and then he gets hurt, and he misses 6 games or something like that. Not that that can't happen to Hill, because it very well could. But I don't know. I like what we already have in Brock Bowers. The other kid, Ian Williams, I love him a lot. The kid with the dreads, really nice, good size, young. He has a basketball player's kind of flexibility in how he runs and moves. I like him not to get hurt and play well at the tight end position. Now you just go out in free agency, get one more just Joe Blow to put on the bench in case someone gets hurt. For Michael Mayer and a 7th round pick, I'm probably taking Tyreek Hill. I'm probably doing it. If for nothing else. See, I see Denton Rhodes right here. I want to touch on what Denton Rhodes said. Too many negatives for Hill. This would be a stupid to trade. Okay, now Denton, and by the way, I love that profile pic, bro. You at NASA, that's cool. I would say this, T-Row, but what if he works? What if he comes in and says, I'm going to rehab my image, I'm going to keep my nose clean, no more Ferraris on the freeway at 200 miles an hour. Yes, he did do that. multiple times. I was debating on whether or not I was going to give up that he's done it multiple times. But he's done it multiple times, damn it. If it was once, I mean, I could probably talk you into it, but no. Harena True! Hello! Corinna, even if you don't win a medal next week, I'm just going to slide you in somewhere and play it off. You know, maybe I'll screw over John the Lion Leon. He won't mind. Troy Gill, what's up? Welcome to the show. Somewhere on Earth 231, Will Smith is Iron Man. You're a fool. Okay, look, I'm sorry. I don't hate the multiverse stuff. We're not on the same page on that one. I like the multiverse stuff. Have they done a good job with it? No, but but you can't take away my love for the storyline. They need to get their heads out of there and do a better job, and I think they will moving forward. So far, so good. I thought Superman looked good. The response to the fans was good. And I thought Fantastic Four was good. And it got a good response from the fans for one weekend. It's a good movie. It's better than it's doing at ticket sales. If you want to go see Fantastic Four, I recommend you go see it. Oh. Thank you, Mrs. Shaw. I'm sure Steven just paid for it. Thank you, Mrs. Shaw. I love this cup. It's funny, Steven, I was talking to you when you were sending me the cup, and I said that I would be using it all the time on the show. And then I don't know if you noticed, but I wasn't for a long time. And it was because I realized, because I've been using it like every morning. I use it in the front room and everything. And then by the time I come in the room and I start my show, my daughter or my wife will make me a cup, and they just bring me whatever cup because they don't know about my thing with your Raider cup. So. Yeah, I'm with it. If we could get a good player for Michael Mayer, I'd do it for sure. Mayer has been a no-show since he got here. And again, I don't know if that's not going to continue. Would any of you thought that Michael Mayer, who was coming out of college with the combat catch title, okay? He was #1 in the country amongst receivers, that's wide receivers and tight ends, at leaping in the air whilst being defended by one or more people who also go up in the air with you, and you're the guy that comes down with the ball more than anyone in the country. The best. It was like drafting Dennis Rodman for rebounding. You know what I mean? Well, we brought him in to be that guy. Combat catches. Where is it more competitive, more combat than at tight end? You know, usually wide receivers, they get loose because of routes, or they may face one-on-one coverage, beat it with speed, etc., etc. Tight ends are always covered. I mean, unless you're Brock Bowers. That's a bad man. We had no idea what we had in that guy. It's like we thought we were getting Batman, instead we got Superman. I know you got love for me, Steve. I can say anything to you. When is Dr. Doom coming out, and who's playing the character? Jim Garrison, I don't know exactly when it's coming out. And in fact, you may have a hell of a wait time ahead of you, because I'm not positive about this, but I think Doctor Strange Part 3 might actually release before the, what's the first one? The Avengers War, where the Skrulls attack and try to replace and kidnap superheroes, and then they'll beat that. And then that might be then Doctor Strange 3, and then after that you'll get Avengers Doomsday. So Avengers War for something or other, or Avengers against the Skrulls or whatever, and then right after that you'll get either Doctor Strange 3, and then after that Avengers Doomsday. And the reason why is because Doomsday is going to be a 3-hour movie, and it's going to be their attempt at really bringing people back to Marvel, because they've lost the superhero fan base. Now, they haven't lost the nerds like me. I go to everything. But they've lost the average person who doesn't read comic books and doesn't care about superheroes. And you need that person. You need the girl who's going on a date with her boyfriend and says, yeah, let's go see Iron Man. You know what I mean? And they're not doing that now, because most of the movies that are coming out are just... R8RBEAR in 2028. You know, Michael Guerrero, a.k.a. the Naked Raider. You know, Michael, if I was president in 2028, I promise you, your interest rates would be lower. You'd be refinancing your homes right now, and everybody'd be in a better place. And all that racism stuff. And I'm saying to you right now, I'm not even blaming this on the president. I'm saying this racism stuff, Black Lives Matter, and how it makes people angry, and which makes no sense because it's just black people saying we don't like being killed unarmed. But you got to go out there and I'm not endorsing that. Don't get me wrong. I know there's people watching my show who probably don't like Black Lives Matter. That's fine. Don't like it. I have no problem with that. I'm not protesting for them. What I'm saying is basically, I would start a forum where people have conversations about that globally. It's time to do more. The only movement we've ever made, think about this, the only movement we've ever made to stop racism was Martin Luther King. And that really wasn't us. That was him alone, on his own. You know what I mean? And I could argue Gandhi was first, but, we need that. We need people. We need someone that everyone can respect to come forward and say enough's enough. You know what I mean? We're not different. If I cut you or you or you or you bleed red, and so do I. All right, now I'm going to hop down off my pedestal. Bear, what's up with online? And do you think, with the O-line, and do you think we should win offensive line with the 5th pick in the draft? Well, no. The problem is that Jackson, Johnson Powers Jackson, I think I'm saying it right, but he's not panning out. He's not panning out. He's a very good offensive lineman, but he's not panning out. Now, this is going to sound weird, but this is just true. It happens with linemen too, not just quarterbacks. There are times when a quarterback comes out of high school and his body is great and he's 10 pounds from being, a real stud, and then that college coach puts that 10 pounds on him. But that's really it. He teaches him how to play college football, which is a facsimile of pro football with all of the hard stuff cut out of it. You have to think of college football now as Math 1. Okay, it's Math 1 when you were like first in high school and you would get Math 1. Some of you got it before Math 1 in the 8th grade, but you get what I'm saying. Like the most basic math is college football. Okay, when you go to the pros, it's algebra and trigonometry like that. And the reason I say bro is because some teams it's algebra, other teams, like the Chiefs, it's trigonometry. Because the coach is so smart, he makes everyone on the field smarter and makes everything about the team better. You know what I mean? All of that doesn't happen in college. Even with that guy, that clown that was with the Roll Tide all those years, that jerkwad that looks like a penis with hair on his head. Excuse my language. I'm not going to say his name, but we all know who he is. He's won a lot of college championships. He's Mr. Guru of college football. I think he's a trash bag. But even he, really, the only thing about him that was why he won so much, no, Jesse, I need a large. And if you could make me 2, I'd really appreciate it. Just 2 large. If it's not trouble, a white one and a black one. But if it's trouble at all, just make them both white or both black, whatever you need. You know me, I'm not difficult. Okay, so about the offensive line. So now, not only Jordan Meredith, remember, Jordan Meredith was barely on the team. He was a guy as our offensive lineman that was known throughout the league as kind of he's a guy. And then we got him, and suddenly he played his ass off. And then we needed him because of injuries. He played in 8 games, and he played great. Not good, great. And basically took the right guard position. Now, fast forward, our new coaching staff comes in and says, man, you have the footwork and the size. You'd be a hell of a center if you can get down he said, hold my beer. I mean, he said it quick because Jordan Meredith was practicing with the 1s, then the 2s, then the 1s, then the 1s, then the 1s. And JDJ got butts put in him because he got moved to the 2s. And now they're looking at moving him to right guard. Now, honestly, he'll be a great right guard. The guy's a great offensive lineman. There's nothing wrong with his physicality, his veracity, his willingness to play is probably up there with Max Crosby's. His problem is his cerebral learning in the classroom was stunted by his college years because in college, although he was playing center, everything was basically told to him in a headset. At this level, you can't do that with the center. It's the quarterback or it's the defensive captain on the defensive side. That's it. I don't think they let centers wear the dot, do they? I don't think they do. But even if they do, it's not enough to have Pete say, watch this, watch that. He's got to call it out to the line. And if he can't do it with confidence, the line won't be confident. Meanwhile, you took him out, you put Jordan Meredith in, and he just, like that, picked it up. I'm serious. They've been basically learning at the same time. Okay, now Jackson Powers Jackson came in. Jackson Powers Johnson? Yeah, Jackson Powers Johnson. Okay, JPJ. He's been studying, learning how to call out signals from the center position the same way Jordan Meredith is, because he was playing right guard for us last year in those 8 games, not center. So now, fast forward, you come to this year with Pete Carroll. He grabs both guys and says, I want to work you out both out at center, see what we got. Jordan Meredith beat him out. Even Alex Kappa, who we brought in over from the Bucks, was on the left guard position while JPJ was on the line, and Kappa was calling him out so that JPJ could look, see what he was calling, and start to learn it faster by being right next to someone who's saying, okay, look, it's this. 57's the mic. You ready? All right, let's go. And he needs a lot of help with that, from what I understand. No, Kevin Kahuhano. It's caffeine and love. I got myself a good honey, too, okay? I've still got doubts about our defensive line. Great, man, you guys are such a beautiful couple. I love that profile picture. I've got to say I agree with you. I do, but the only reason I'm excited is because they're starting to understand that Tyree Wilson is not going to work at defensive end. He's just not. And so what they're doing is they're banging him in hard on the defensive tackle position when we're in a 4-down lineman set, so that he can be of some value to us, because you can't move him to linebacker. He's not fast enough, and I've seen him in practice when they tried. He does not have the hips. He doesn't have the recognition fast enough to see where he's supposed to be helping, where he's supposed to be. If he's not blitzing or playing the run, he has to figure out where he's going to be like that, because it could be a tight end that flashes right in front of him and he's supposed to be running with him. He's supposed to be maybe dropping back in his zone, covering the slant against the wide receiver, the number 2 on that side, so he can't just run a quick slant. He would be in front of it to knock the ball down. There's too many things like that he didn't learn in college that he's not going to learn at our level. Because while he's trying to learn it, he's going to make mistakes on the field that are going to burn us and cost us games, and we just can't have that. But at defensive tackle, you move him inside and you ask him to move earth and pick up giant men and throw them. He can do that. If you go back and look at the tape of him in school, he can throw guys. There's no doubt about that, okay? The man is probably one of the strongest pure strength guys on the team. The problem with that is, let's see what would happen, say, if in practice he had to do that to Laki Tassi. You see where I'm going. It's not going to work, because Laki Tassi's 6'6", 355 pounds, and he is a chicken McNugget. And I don't mean an order. I mean one chicken McNugget for being like 400 pounds. Laki Tassi's a freaking monster. He is Godzilla from Australia. Love it. Having said that, even if he doesn't start, I don't care. I love the idea of having him for depth. But the point is, every team has a guy like that. Almost every team. Well, I mean, obviously there are some teams that don't have guys that big, but almost every team has at least one, sometimes two, guys that break that 340, 350 barrier. You're not going to throw guys like that. You're going to spin move off of them. You're going to hit them with some good hand fighting and, move inside on them. You're going to do that for sure. But you're for damn sure not going to grab them and throw them, And that's if they don't throw you or give you the pancake, because those are some sumo wrestlers in the NFL at that weight and height. So, Mark Anthony Flores, what's up? Welcome to the show. Okay, so Jamal Adams, we talked about him the other day. We talked about the fact that he's coming along. Devin White, I have not heard anything about him since practices started. It feels like he got here, he was excited, he smacked the hell out of someone, and now he's downshifting. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm commenting on it because I've heard too many people saying that it means he's getting old or we got a guy on his last legs. No, he's saving himself. Why twist your ankle and then double tape it to make it out there for game 1 when you could just make it out there for game 1 without that twisted ankle? I'm sorry. And we've got too many other guys like Amari Gaynor and Cody Lindbergh and Johnny Eichenberg, who's one of my favorites. I picked him from Ohio State. When we picked him, I was jacked. That was my linebacker that I wanted. I said it before we drafted him, and then we drafted him. Mark Anthony Flores Sr., what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Jesse, I really appreciate that, brother. You're the man. Kevin Kahu Hano, but have you seen the shirt? It's very political, so I can't really say what it says. 3 is too slow and weak for defensive end. Yeah. He needs more muscle. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd say he needs more muscle. He's a big dude, man. He's a big dude. It's just Tyree Wilson, while in college, his growth was stunted because the defensive coaches with whatever team he was playing for, I forget now off the top of my head, but they weren't working on him as a player. Do you understand what I'm saying? They were making sure his conditioning was good. They were making sure he understood what defense they were running. They made sure he understood when they're blitzing and when they're not blitzing. Things like that. But did they teach him stunts? Did they teach him swim moves? Did they teach him an inside step to a spin move? Did they teach him? Did they teach him? Did they teach him? No, and no. And so he comes into the league, probably, I would argue, as green as Laki Tassi. And Laki Tassi, before this year, had never played football, let alone college or high school or NFL. He's never played football, and he's further along. Let that sink in. A guy who's never played the game has come into camp and is beating guys out potentially on the offensive line. That's incredible. Now, don't get me wrong. If you really wanted me to say it, if you're an offensive lineman, you just have to be really big. If you can move your feet and see who's in front of you, you block them. Now, there are moves and tricks that they do where your guy can roll on that stunt and you can get pinned and you can't get around your fellow offensive lineman because he's right on your right shoulder and you got to get yourself around and then try to get over there while this animal who weighs 275 pounds and runs a 4.5 40 is running for your quarterback to literally kill him. Good luck with that. But outside of that, it's see guy, stay in front of guy. Don't get caught holding him, too often. Because everyone holds on every single play. It's just who gets away with it and who doesn't. All right, so back to what we were saying. Devin White, I think, is just taking it easy until the season starts. Then I think he's going to be an absolute monster for us. I think he will get banged up a little bit, but I do think he's going to be good for us for the whole year. The Jalen Smith thing, to me, I think that they need to be patient with Jalen Smith. I mean, I don't think it's arguable that when he came on with the Dallas Cowboys, the guy was fierce. But that was because he was in Dan Quinn's defense with the Dallas Cowboys. He knew what it was. Okay, he came in right from his rookie season, walked into Dallas, and just learned their defense. It's a whole nother matter now to take that same kid, and you got to find out, does he have the acuity to go to another team and start all over with a different defense, different defensive assignments, maybe playing on the opposite side of the field, maybe playing backups instead of starter, and so on and so on. So the Jalen Smith thing, to me, I feel like we should treat that like a project. Because if you want the report is he's not playing well so far. He's not. Now, has he looked good in camp? He looked good in camp. Did he look good in our preseason game? No. He got pushed around a little bit. He got out of position a couple times. He overran a couple plays. I mean, and I'm being critical because I've watched the game 4 times. And my times, I'm observing not just the guys who make plays, but where are other guys that matter to us on those same plays? And I would see someone getting tackled on this side of the field and Jalen Smith getting pancaked by a wide receiver on the other side of the field. It just, it wasn't encouraging. But see, to me, I don't feel like a slow start denotes that that's what he's going to be necessarily with everyone. Do you know what I mean? I think he could have a slow start with us in the preseason, and then in camp and understanding his responsibilities on the field, he'll get better and better. I really do think. And his athleticism is, in my opinion, irreplaceable. So if you can get that athleticism on the field, to me, you do that. And obviously he still has to play well. If he doesn't play well, then forget it. But I think he's going to play well. Tanamoku says, Devin White had 2 interceptions yesterday and took one of them to the house. Now you see what I'm saying, and I didn't know that, Devin, so I appreciate that. I feel like he's making plays. Obviously, we know. And then more importantly, I was really feeling like, he was dialing it down. Maybe he isn't, but that sounds incredible. I appreciate that, Tanamoku. Bro, I worked in corrections. I pissed people off by just looking at them. Well, okay, but that's because of where you work. No, I know we're too good, bro. I'm telling you. You, honey, and the kids would have to, tuck the two of us into bed because, as soon as I got out there, we'd have too much fun, and I know it. You know what I mean? I'm trying so hard. I have parental responsibilities still that are extreme, not just with my kids, but with my parents and my wife's parents, and that's getting too personal, but you know what I mean. And I have you. I have 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Island Jen. I mean, I've got some people out there that, really love, the Raiders and really love R8RBEAR and Mama Bear and have told us more than once, they have an extra bed. Anytime we're out in the islands, let them know. And so we're definitely going to do that. It's just a matter of when. And I know I've been saying that for a while, and I apologize for that. But just, how it is. Life gets in the way. You work in corrections, so life gets in the way. Kenny Blair! Pinky out. All the way from the land of whiskey and crumpets. The man sends me coins from an ocean away. That's my guy right there. All the time. I know, I had some people ask me if I would get on Patreon because they were saying they would contribute more if I was on Patreon because they don't like contributing to Facebook because they know a percentage of what I collect from you guys goes to Fart Zuckerberg, McDuckerberg. I can't stand that guy. I might get killed for this video. I don't know, but I can't stand that guy. I didn't say his name right, so it probably won't algorithm me, but I can't stand that guy. There's nothing I hate worse, absolutely nothing I hate worse than when super rich people say to you, hey, I'm doing super rich stuff over here. Watch this. I've got 2 super yachts, 2 super boats, 7 super jet skis, 18 super hot chicks, and lobsters and shrimp and caviar. And you know who else is sharing it with me? Nobody! I'm going by myself! Yes, we know you can afford that. Go to hell. No worries, still planning a trip to Vegas to visit my eldest son when we can make a drive to Arizona to see you. Oh, I appreciate that, brother. But listen, when you are going to make the trip to Vegas, let me know because we've made one trip to Vegas. We'll probably make two trips to Vegas. We'll probably make another one. Our neighbor next door to us is getting ready to move, and he's moving to Vegas, and we were kind of bummed about that because you know how it is. It's hard to find good neighbors when you have good neighbors. And now I'm losing my second pair of good neighbors, one on my left and now one on my right. The one on my left hasn't been bought yet, and the one on my right I think is a renter, which is even worse. But no offense to renters, but just sometimes they're so caught up in bills and life being hard, and they can't afford a house that you hear all of their life through their walls when you're next door to them. God damn it, Jill, leave me alone. I got to be up for work in the morning. I just want you to change Joey's diaper. Hit me up. Oh, no, Tanamoku, for real. I look, Tana, I want to show you how much I love you and Honey and Kevin and everyone else that's inviting me and want me to come out to the islands. I'm letting you know, I'm going to post about it every day, like probably for a month. When I'll probably be making jokes about it at the end of every show about how I've been working on my Kalua, yay, and my Haka. Oh, you see, I do it in the shower. Right when the water's just and Linda will be like, I just woke up. What? You can wake up to an alarm clock or your husband doing the Haka in the shower. I mean, what would you pick? I mean, be honest. Haka in the shower. I know. You guys would much rather hear the Haka in the shower from me than, 96 FM in the morning suddenly playing for you Journey and some old song. Don't stop believing. Snooze bar. But Josh, back to what we were saying, or Jamal Adams is playing so good at linebacker right now, and in camp is just looking like a beast, playing and falling into the position beautifully. I was concerned about him being able to shed offensive blockers. I say offensive blockers, not offensive linemen, because it isn't always going to be linemen. Sometimes it'll be a tight end. Sometimes it'll be a wide receiver. Other times it'll be a fullback or a running back. And then, of course, sometimes it'll be an offensive lineman. And I didn't feel like he had the size to shed guys like that. But what you can do as a linebacker is if your sight lines and your film study are strong, then it's harder for guys to get a hold of you and block you. Because remember, whenever someone's going to block you, they have to move themselves to your position. If you beat them to that position because you're attacking faster than they're attacking their position, you can beat that block and put them in a position where they have to either try to hold you by grabbing your jersey, shove you from behind, which is a flag, or just stand there and take it because they beat you to the spot and with speed and recognition. And that's what Jamal Adams is doing. Film study and recognition. In practice, he's seeing his way through those spots. So when they sweep to the right and they've got two blockers, it doesn't matter. He sees the back side of that, comes around, brings the guy down. That's just smarts, being in the league for quite a while, and recognizing that, having played corner when he was in college, playing safety in the pros, now this is the next evolution. Plenty enough speed for to play linebacker, and just enough size to be effective. With his also knowledge, his football IQ is exceptional. Now, because of all this and Tommy Eichenberg coming into his own, not only will Cody Lindbergh, our 7th round linebacker that we picked up, I can't remember what school he went with. Was it Boston? I want to say Boston, but I'm not sure. But how do I say this? Every once in a while, no, not every once in a while. That's not a good way to say this. Every single team, every single year, loses a guy that is more than I don't want to lose him. There's always, every single year, a guy that you lose that you're like, I just wish, God, we got to make a roster spot for that guy, and then you can't. And then you see that guy go on somewhere and play great. Now, Cody Lindbergh has been compared, and I don't like it when they compare puppy rookie players to guys that are established great players. I do not like that. But in this instance, I like it because there are instances where you can do it where it's not bad, and it's this. You're just saying the play style is similar. Not saying he's going to be as great as that guy. Not saying, that this running back's going to be Bo Jackson. But is their style similar? Okay? Cody Lindbergh is very similar to Brian Urlacher, the famous middle linebacker for the Chicago Bears, who came into the league undersized because he would, in college, he was playing strong safety. He bulked up to 20, 30 pounds, started playing linebacker, and was fantastic. And because of his natural athleticism, was able to keep most of his speed. Cody Lindbergh is looked at as a prototype Brian Urlacher. A little bit undersized, used to play strong safety, needs to put on a little bit weight, but is a very technical, surefire, gets lower than his opponent, gets his head down, goes through the legs, drives through the hips. Technique tackler. Now, once this guy gets on size, the sky's the limit because he's got the lateral speed, and he honestly is a lot like Tommy Eichenberg that we got from Ohio State. The difference is Eichenberg's more of the prototypical body. 6'3", you know what I mean? 2 something. I think Eichenberg, when he came in, was like 235. I think he's up to 250 now. So 250 is still light, but it's not unplayable at linebacker 250. So he's going to be nice. Cody Lindbergh, though, is going to get shoved out the door because we got to find a place for Eichenberg on the field more often now. Masterson, the backup linebacker, is still with us. And Cody Lindbergh is going to lose any shot he had because now you've brought Jamal Adams in where we had a hole. And if you have a hole, then that means you fill it with a backup. And if you fill it with a backup, then that means you bring Cody Lindbergh up, and at least he's still on the team. It looks like we're going to lose him. We're starting to get enough depth at linebacker. It looks like we might have to let go of the 7th round pick. And a lot of you probably know this. I know some of you don't. I'm big into lowrider culture. Used to be all about lowrider trucks, lowrider cars. Had an Impala at one time. Had a mini truck with a camper shell, beaten system, the whole nine. And also lowrider bikes. Super into lowrider bikes. I've kind of let the car thing go. I have a great SUV with rims that I really love. And so I turned it back to bikes when I was a kid. I used to always love getting all the chrome rims and the steering wheel that was made out of a chain link, you know what I mean? And all that cool stuff. So you ride hella high with the monkey bars on your super low bike. It's almost scratching the ground. I have one of those now, but it's like the longest bike you've ever seen. It's a stretch cruiser e-bike lowrider bike. And everywhere I go with it, people lose their, excuse my French, I can't think of another way of saying it, but they lose their shit. Just everywhere I go. I went to the truck stop. Every time I go to the trucks, there's a park here where they park. There's a large park here that has a giant parking lot where in the evening they get like 6 taco trucks. And they're not all tacos. I mean, I'm just calling them taco trucks so you get the visual. But they're all taco trucks, but they all have different food. And you can get ice cream, desserts, all kinds of Mexican treats. Obviously, there's Mexican food, and then there's ribs, and there's a black family-owned and run kitchen, and they do everything vegan. Everything's turkey meat, things like that, really super healthy. And it's impressive. It's really cool. And every time I go there and I stop and I'm ordering food, I turn around and someone smile at me ear to ear. And they don't know how to approach me, so they just smile dead in my face. And I'll just say, how you doing? And they'll go, good, thanks. Man, that's a nice bike, man. And then they ask me 40 questions about the bike. Yeah, it's fun, though. I absolutely love it. I tell people all the time I'm not like a weird famous person who acts like, oh, leave me alone, I want my private time. Never been like that, never will. If you see me in public and you want my autograph or you want my picture, you want a selfie, you want me to sign something, walk right up to me and say, Bear, what's up? I'm saying that to all of you. If you've never ever met me, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. If I'm with my wife and my kids, don't worry about it. I'm just not like that. You know, I've seen people say, oh, not when I'm with my wife and kids. Well, why? I mean, they don't want to, like, go on the rides with your kids and kiss and hug your wife. They just want to meet you. You know what I mean? So if you want to come meet a R8R Bear, you come meet a R8R Bear. Besides, I have more people tell me, I only saw you were there, R8R Bear, because I saw Mama Bear's red hair. I rate it! Woo! I love you guys. When I'm gone, I miss you more than you miss me. Believe that. I'll be on again tomorrow night. I love you guys. Gonna try to do 2 shows tomorrow. Don't hold me to that. I apologize. Sometimes I don't make it, but I'm gonna do everything I can to get in my second show tomorrow. Bob Standard, watch for me tomorrow. Okay, Kenny Blair, watch for me tomorrow. Kenny, you gotta come on camera with me so we can talk. I love you, brother. James and Princetta Walker, I appreciate you and I love you. Corinna Trujillo, I love you, girl. Appreciate you. Steve Chapman, you're the best, man. Kevin Kahuhano, love you, man. Oscar De Leon, I appreciate that you caught me right here at the end. Much love to you. Jesse, you know what it is. You know what I mean? You know what it is. I do. I love you, bro. I really do. For what you've done for my daughter and the shoes. And I can't tell you guys enough about Jesse Parker. I can't. He's one of the coolest dudes you'd ever meet. I love him to death. That's my brother. I've never had a brother. I've only ever had a sister. She passed away. So I'm pretty much on my own in that regard. I got you, JP. I got you. Appreciate you, brother. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force, for all you do. The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. That's my time. That's my show. Please like and subscribe. Please share if you care. You're R8R Bear. Sleep tight and don't let the bear bugs bite. No, I would bite, but nobody's calling me a bug.